everybody. Thank you for visiting the Match a Resident YouTube channel. I'm very excited to bring to you another edition of our IMG success stories. There have been so many this year, and I'm just an honor to be able to host these interviews. My name is Amanda. I'm the Director of Communications, and I'm going to let our guests tell you a bit about themselves.
Hey everyone, it's great seeing you all, and thanks for the opportunity. So a little bit about myself. I am originally from India, although I've lived in India, I've lived in the Middle East, I've spent a little time in Canada, and then I went back to my home country, India, to pursue medicine. And I decided I wanted to pursue US MLE, I think around in my final year of medical school. That's when I finally decided this is what I want to do. I think for my education and the type of life and the type of research and practice balance I'm looking for, US would be my best bet for me. So after that, I decided to do the US MLEs. I did a little bit of research, understood the importance of doing observerships and clerkships, everything. Then COVID hit around the time I was about to graduate, so that kind of put a little bit of bump in the whole process. But I did take the time to do a little bit of volunteering during COVID and while preparing for my step one, gave my step one, then started my rotations in the US. I spent some time in New York, and then I gave my step two and applied for my first match cycle in 2022 for the 2023 residency. Unfortunately, I did not match my first match cycle, but I didn't give up because it's part of the process and you gotta deal with it. And I think the whole thing made me stronger and much more better for the residency now. After that, I gave step three. I also worked in India to get more practice. Then I applied for, this time I applied in US for inpatient rotations, as I thought that would give me much more experience. Applied again, got some research, applied again, did not give up, and I finally matched this year. That's my little story.
No, that's
So
amazing.
yeah, I made it,
Honestly,
guys.
yeah, you made it. Congratulations. And that's a great story because, I mean, not older, are you a bit of an older graduate? You know, it's been a few years since you've been out of medical school. You're non-US IMG.
Yeah.
You were a reapplicant. So, I mean, I know that everybody listening to this is going to be really inspiring because you have no idea the amount of people that we hear from who just want to give up when they go through things like that because it is really hard and it can be really draining.
And even for me, uh, one of the reasons I carried on is because so many people telling me you can't give up. It's just one time. I had a senior who was like, I didn't match the first time. I tried again and I got it, and you just got to do the same. You can't just give up. It's okay. It happens. Take your time, take a breather, and go for it again. So, these type of stories really helped me, and I'm hoping to do the same for everyone else.
No, I think that is amazing. And I think those types of stories really do help because it really is all about like what you make of it, right? Like obviously that could be the end of your journey. Like if you go through the match cycle and you don't match and then you decide that you want to give up, then yeah, that could be the end. Or you can look at it in how do I improve my application? How do I show that I am equipped to handle residency and also know to myself and be confident when in interviews that you're getting that point across?
Exactly. And I think I'm much more better prepared, even with the same things I had before. Now I had because I took help from so many people. I got lucky and got a lot of mentors. I reached out to people and they were more than happy to help. And they showed me that even the things I had done previously, I could not express it as well in my CV and everything last year. And that was part of the reason I didn't match, because things I had done, which were apparently very important, I didn't mention because I thought no one will care about it. And they were like, no, mention it. This is great. It's volunteering. This shows leadership. These are the skills they're looking for. I'm like, oh, okay. So I think one of the things that really helped me was reaching out to people, just emailing and people and making connections as I go, and just making sure to keep in touch with them, because you never know who's going to help you in what. So one of the things I learned is like, keep those connections, maintain a good relationship with all of your mentors, all your friends, anyone you know. It's because you never know who's going to help you. So that was one of the best lessons I learned, for
Yeah, and I'm
sure.
sure that you got some really good like letters of recommendation from that as a result. And it does really help to have somebody else to look at your application. I think what we always say this a lot too, but
Definitely.
sometimes people forget like a well-rounded application, right? And that doesn't even mean just being the best and having the best of this, but yeah, showing you have leadership skills, showing that you care about the community, showing that your passion goes beyond just pursuing this residency. You know what I mean? That it's the core of who you are.
Exactly. And one of the things I really understood about what they're looking for in a resident, it's not about just your academics. It's not about just how well you are at the clinical aspect of things. It's also about how you interact with people. Do you have friends? Do you have any hobbies outside of this? Because they want someone who's not, because the thing is, I think in residency, people get burnt out. It's a very well-known phenomenon for residents. And they want people who have a life outside of it that will balance this out so they don't get tired of it. It doesn't get monotonous. But they are looking for those aspects as well. So it's important to people to also culture that aspect of them. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something I realize as well. So
No, and that's a
well-rounded
good
application
point.
is very important for sure.
I agree. And I know I actually
Yeah.
I you said something that I want to I think we say it a lot and people may be like, "Well, how do I do that?" Well, how do I have that? How do I cultivate that? I mean, get in tune with yourself, right? Take those moments of downtime. Like while you are preparing for residency, obviously it's incredibly stressful. There are so many steps to go through. There are so many dates to be aware of, so much to prepare. But you don't want to lose sight of yourself in this. Like, make sure that you are leaning on your support system. Make sure that you are taking time to, even if it's just take a walk, or if you like to knit, or something like that, like pottery. I don't know, just something to slow you down and get in touch with the everyday.
And be proud of it and talk about it, because like it's everything is a skill and everything is valued. You never know who's going to find that interesting, right? Like you never know where even when you're interviewing, you never know, you might say something random and they'll be like, oh wow, tell me more about it. So these things definitely do matter, and then they will remember you in the interview itself, that oh, this is the girl I had such a great conversation with, I want to know more about her, so I'm gonna rank her. That does happen.
I
So
agree.
yeah.
I agree. What would you
Another,
say? Oh, yeah, you
yeah,
go. Sorry.
another thing, yeah, it's okay. Go on.
No,
We can
you go.
talk
You
about it
go.
later.
You go.
No, I was just gonna mention another thing which I realized this time was very important to me, is selecting which programs to apply to. Because I think last time I was not as selective while applying to the programs. I didn't do as much research. And this time I did. I actually went on Match Resident for help. I took a subscription and that was extremely helpful. It's part of the reason I was like, yeah, I do want to collaborate with you, because it was very helpful for me,
I love
honestly.
that.
So when you reached out, I was more than happy, because it was truly helpful. I got a lot of information from it. There were reviews given by current residents about each program in there itself. So for me, it was a great tool, and I did most of my selection from it. So there we go. So thanks for that.
Of course, I love that. Sorry, I keep
Yeah.
looking back. I have a puppy right now. Um, he's a little crazy right now because he's young. So I'm just like, please don't be eating anything bad. Anyways, no, I love that you said that because it really is very important. And may I ask, how many programs did you apply to?
I applied to 180
Okay,
programs.
so you did apply to a lot of
The year
programs.
before I actually applied last year, the year before I applied to over 200, still didn't match. This year I applied to less, but matched. So there we go.
But it was probably
Yeah,
the type of programs. Yeah,
like
the like,
definitely, definitely. And it was pretty accurate. Like the scores they're looking for, what they're looking for, everything was pretty accurate. So yeah.
yeah, I mean, we do our best. I'm not gonna lie. There are obviously times that things might slip through the cracks because we are reliant upon like the programs giving us that information. But we do what we can to make sure that it's as accurate as it's helpful as possible. We, have our filters on your step scores, your visa, that kind of stuff. So make
Yeah.
it easier, especially for IMGs who don't have that support of like an advising board at school. No, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I did want
A
to
lot
touch
of us
really.
are doing.
Sorry, I think there was like
You know,
a delay from us, so we keep saying.
Oh well, this is what happens when you live in the virtual world.
I know, I know. And we're doing so well though overall. We can just edit that out. But yeah, we
I
just need
know.
to, you go. Say what you were gonna say.
It was just, I was just saying, a lot of IMGs don't have that support. We don't have counselors who are like, this is the program you should apply for or go for this. So for us, these tools are extremely helpful. And we definitely would not be able to do it without it, to be completely honest. So
Oh, I love
yeah,
to hear that. Thank you. Really quickly, I did want to touch on, so you did step 3, right? And I think that's really
I did.
important, and that probably really helped bolster your application. What advice would you
Yeah.
give about like preparing for step 3, how to manage your time and that kind of thing? I know it's like really stressful, I'm pretty sure, so.
So I'll be very honest with you. I gave my step 3. I started preparing for step 3 as soon as I found out I didn't match. I only had one interview, so I kind of knew I'm not gonna match. So honestly, I found out the result. I didn't match. I'm like, okay, on to SOAP. So for US non-US IMGs is it's most probably not gonna happen, right? So I was
Mhm.
mentally prepared at that point. And as soon as match week ended, I started preparing. I took the subscription. For me, the one thing I did is revise my step 2 notes. So I had made like a whole book of notes for step 2 written by myself. I used to call it my personal step 2 first aid because we didn't have a proper book. So I made my whole like printed out notes. It was like 300 pages long.
I love
So
that.
so for me, that was extremely yeah, I'm kind of a nerd, but it was helpful for me. So that was very helpful. That helped me revise everything, go through it and all. And after that, UWorld for step 3. I just did UWorld for step 3. I did just one pass. For me, it was enough. And for the CCS, I did ccscases.com. That's by far the best site. For me, UWorld, the cases in UWorld were not that great because they don't give a score. It gets a little boring. It's not as interactive. And CCS cases, when you do it from the cases, ccscases.com, it's a lot more fun because there's a timer. It's more engaging. There's stuff going on and you feel like a real
Mhm.
doctor. In the U world, it's not so much. It's more like multiple choice. You're just writing it down. It's not as much fun. So definitely do the CCS and U world. And if you have any notes from your step 2 and step 1, go through it and go through it. Um, and take help for anything you need. Take help. If you have a mentor, if you have a senior who has done it, take help from them. That's what I did. I was told to go to these resources by my seniors. Take help and make sure to take time to do other things because studying all that for that long after step 1 and step 2, doing step 3 can be very can feel very exhausting. So for me, I studied for my step 3 while working. I was working in the hospital inpatient while in India, so that really helped me because my job was like a stepping away into the real world, taking a break from everything, the whole US Emily
Mhm.
journey, and doing something that's different from that, meeting people, talking to them, interacting to actually real life people. That was really helpful, refreshing, and calm me down mentally because when you don't match, then you're doing another exam on top. You need something more to
Yeah.
carry you on. So for me, most importantly, make sure you have your mental health is good. Make sure you have enough energy. Make sure you have other things in life to take you away from your USM lead. So you know that this is not the only thing that's important in your life. You're worth more than your USM lead scores and your match cycle. So that was very important to me. And have support. So you can do this, you can focus on this while knowing that there are people around you supporting you no matter what happens. For me, that was like extremely important.
No, I think that's all really good advice. And I mean, obviously it worked for you in the end because here you are having successfully matched. So, I mean, again, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Couldn't have done it without all the support from my friends, my seniors, my parents, everyone.
I'm sure. No, and I'm sure that some people
Yeah.
listening to this are going to
Mhm.
take some heat from that. So kind of wrapping up a little bit, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy that it played out in a way that you were happy with where you've matched. And I'm sure it kind of felt like going through it the second time was meant to be because you're happier now at the program that you're with, I'm sure.
I truly did feel like it was meant to be. I have like no regrets at this point. I definitely think I'm a better doctor and am going to be a better resident this year around than I would have been last year for sure.
I love that. Well, before we finish up, is there anything else you would want to say to anybody who's listening this, who they're preparing for the upcoming cycle and maybe, or maybe they didn't match and now they are preparing for the cycle again?
So first I'll say one thing for those who didn't match. First of all, if you're not giving up, which I hope you're, if you have the finances, if you have the support, go for a second time. First time not matching is not the end of the world. It really isn't. But if you are going for a second time, I would say take a couple weeks off, go somewhere, rejuvenate, because I didn't do that and that did take a toll on me. I think I would have performed much better in my step 3 if I had taken that a week or 2 off and not dived in right away. Because I found myself getting a little exhausted, not being able to remember things I normally would because I was a little mentally exhausted. So take a break. It's okay. You didn't match. It doesn't make you a failure. You don't have to like just dive right in and be like, no, I gotta fight this. No, take a break, go somewhere, go to the beach, take a swim, go out with your friends, have a good time, come back, and then sit down and be like, now I got this. Now I'm gonna dive in and do what needs to be done. That's one advice I'll give everyone. And make sure to go through your CV and see with other people and see what things you didn't add, because it's not just about scores. It's about your CV. It's about whether you have publications. It's about your personal statement. It has to be unique and special to you. Make sure you write things in it which is not generic. Some things that makes you stand out. For me, it was my experience in different countries and in healthcare all over the world, my experience with volunteering in different countries, stuff like that. These are the things that made me stand out. So look for what makes you stand out as a person and really focus on that. That's what I did this match season. I focus on the fact that I have traveled the world. I know different languages. I know how different culture works. And that's something that impressed a lot of people. And that was really the core of my application. And even in my interviews, that's what people wanted to talk about. So have 1 or 2 things which make you unique and make sure to to build everything towards that. That I found that really worked for me, and I hope it will do the same for everyone else.
I think that's really, really good advice, actually. I think you said it perfectly. And I also want to say, like, for everyone, you do deserve a vacation. Like, congratulations for making it through the match. Maybe you might not have matched, but it's a
Exactly.
really hard process. It's draining, it's
Very.
stressful, it's financially draining. It takes a lot of
Yes.
dedication to even see it through to the end. So just be proud of yourself for that. Allow yourself to be
Yeah.
proud of the fact that you tried, and then think about, okay, how do I learn? How do I improve? And then figure out moving forward.
Exactly. Take your time. It's okay. And again, like non-matching the first time around does not make you a failure. It just means like you have to work a little harder and look at things differently. And you need a fresh perspective for that. And going somewhere and, taking a swim in the sea or having a trek helps.
I
Gives you
completely agree.
perspective.
I
Exactly.
really agree. And it gives you a time to like reset, come back and think about, okay, now I'm refreshed, I'm ready. What do I want to do? And also maybe think about, who am I? Like you said, I think a lot of it is you want to identify and be like specific to who you are in an application. What are your strengths? What value do you specifically bring based on your experiences? And just make sure you use that.
Exactly, definitely. And even when I was doing my interviews, because at that point I knew who I was and what I want from a program, I was that much more confident giving an interview because it's like, I know this is who I am. I know I'm capable. So, and I know that I will be a great addition to a program I go to. So it gives you that confidence, and that really shows when you're interviewing somewhere. And that what makes them look at you and notice you and want you, because they're like, oh, this person knows they're good and they will be a valuable addition to our program. And I think that does definitely make a difference.
Yeah, and I know that you're going to be a great addition to the program. I just can tell. Like, I would
Fingers
love, like,
crossed.
you're so comforting, you're so nice, and I'm sure that it's going to just be a great experience for you, and I can't wait to hear all about it.
Thank you so much. Let's
Well, thank
hope.
you so. Oh, you go.
No, I was just like, I'm just hoping for what you said to be true.
It's going to be. I know it will be. It might be stressful. There are going to be some long nights and days, but I think it's going to be rewarding. I think it's going to pay off. And I have a feeling that the
Yeah.
place you mentioned too, if they saw your value and you're like, they're going to be a good place for you to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much to everybody for joining us today, for watching, for just giving us an ear and listening to us talk about how we can better the IMG community, how we can support them more. And thank you so much for joining me today. Really, I didn't know all of those details about your story, and it's really great.
It's a pleasure being here with you, talking to you. I really hope this helps people, and good luck to everyone. You all got this.
Oh, I've got this. Yes. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or you have any issues. We will be tagging Dipabali as well, so you can reach out to her if you need. I'm sure. I mean, are you okay with getting messages?
Yeah, of course. I have been getting some, so I'm trying to help those whom I think I can help. So I'm definitely
Exactly.
open to
No.
messages.
Whatever you can. I know that sometimes they come in waves and it's like a bunch of them.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. But there's so many like me, right? And we're
So
all
many.
here to help.
The community is so supportive,
Exactly.
and that's what I love about doing these interviews is just being able to give back to the community that really cares.
Yeah, you just gotta give it forward. That's one of my seniors told me that who was helping me. I was like so grateful to him. And he was like, people help me and I'm just passing it on. And
Oh,
I'm just gonna do the same thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we will
All
collaborate more in
right.
the future. Thank you again so much for joining me today.
All right, it was great. Bye.